Dun da da da. Here it is. It's a Grom, but it's not. But it is, but it's not really. This is a Grom clone, specifically from Venom Motorsports, located in Canada. I had this Grom clone shipped straight to my house for about $1,500, give or take. So what makes this a clone? It's just a Chinese copy, supposed to be replica, of a Honda Grom. The main difference, and pretty much only difference between this and a Grom, might be some color schemes, the types of brakes they use. The engine is not a Honda engine, but it is essentially the same. It's a 125cc engine. However, it is not fuel injected. It is still a carbureted engine. I was a little skeptical because I just got done with a carbureted motorcycle, realizing that I hate carburetors. Still do. But this is a tiny, easy to operate, easy to customize, replace, fix carburetor. Very basic, very simple. Shouldn't really give us a whole lot of issues. Now, there's a lot of different versions of this bike. There's a lot of companies that make cheap 125cc Grom frame clones, or like not necessarily Groms, but still 125cc street legal bikes. There's like an SSR Rascal. There's like something called like an Ice Bear. I don't know, but they like, there's a lot of different companies that make like mopeds, scooters, things along the lines that use these 125cc engines. I just happened to pick mine from Venom Motorsports. I thought they looked the best. I had a ton of advertisements for them all over Facebook, my Reddit. How cool is it to have a motorcycle delivered directly to your door? And it was pretty dang cheap. I also have a ton of upgrades sitting over here for this bike. I will be installing. When you get this bike delivered to your doorstep, you have to set it up, get it uncrated, and get things taken care of before you can go get it at least inspected. So from what I've seen, a lot of people tend to buy these bikes and they just uncrate it immediately, slap on the handlebars, slap on the front wheel if it doesn't come connected, throw gas in, and ride it right onto the road. That's honestly a pretty awful idea. These bikes are cheap and they're clones and they're made pretty cheap. Like, you can just tell there's like imperfections in some of the paint and stuff, and that's to be expected whenever you buy one of these. If you're looking for pure quality, best performance, you know, name brand engines and stuff like that, you go with the name brand products. These bikes, someone put it a really good way. They said you kind of need to have a sense of humor with them. They can function really well and you can ride them for years, but you have to take care of them, first of all. And second of all, there are things that go wrong that are absolutely fixable, that aren't really big deals. Venom Motorsports provides pretty good customer service. They always replace parts that come broken. They don't mind doing that. They'll always help you out whenever they can. Just for an example, I actually didn't order this exact color scheme of the Vader, as they call it. I originally ordered this model in all black. It was actually the model that came out this spring, and a couple people have them and they got really popular and a ton of people ordered them. When it came time for them to ship out at the end of September, mine got stuck in customs for weeks, and I called them asking, you know, what was going on, and they apologized for the inconvenience. And this bike came out shortly after mine was shipped into customs, and it was about $100 more, and they upgraded me to it. They already had it and it was ready to ship, and I would have gotten it within a week. That's exactly what happened this week. On Monday it shipped out. It's now Friday, delivered to my house, and the original one I ordered is still in customs, and this one even looks better. It has the gold forks, red brakes, interesting paint scheme. I don't think it looks half bad. If you're not a fan of how they painted your bike, or if you think the quality isn't too great, you can always go get your parts painted. Not really a big deal, because in the end, this bike stock costs about $2,000 less than a Grom does, brand new. Now, that's not to say that you can't find a genuine Honda Grom for roughly the same price. I'm sure you can find a Grom for anywhere between $1,000 to $2,000. Be a little bit older, but it would be used. I wanted something that was brand spanking new, easy to ride, I could take anywhere, maybe do a little bit of off-roading in, and have a quick and simple project to work on. So I figured, why not try this? So with this bike, I'm going to give you the most honest opinion I have on it. I'm not going to hide any problems. I'm not going to hide any good things. I'm going to tell you exactly like it is and whether I like it or not. Whether you like it or not really depends on who you are. Honestly, just from looking at the bike, the design is good. I'm really pleased with that. There's definitely things that are gonna need to be changed, like this horrendous tail. Also, the stock suspension is adjustable. How crazy is that? It is not adjustable on the actual Honda Grom. As we uncrate it, there's going to be a process that I am going to go through. It's going to be pretty in-depth. You may not have to be as in-depth as I am going to be. However, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I'm going to check all the main things. I'm going to strip the bike down, not all the way to bare bones, but we'll be taking off the plastics, examining some bolts and stuff. Here's the actual order. So first, we need to get the cage off of it and figure out how the hell it's standing up, because normally the axle goes through the bottom of the crate and the wheel comes separate, and that's what holds it in place. But it's not, and I think it's being held in by some wires or something. I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out. So once we get the crate off and we're ready to start doing stuff to the bike, we need to temporarily install the handlebars. We need to take off the front wheel and fender, and we need to Loctite every bolt that's going to go on the front of this bike. The rear suspension, we're going to Loctite the bottom and top of the shock. I'm in an awful angle for you to see anything. Then I'm going to check the kickstand, and we're going to take the plastics off the bike. By plastics, I mean the rear plastics and the side. There's typically some more plastics on the front, but I don't think we need to remove those to access some things around it. Make sure the gas tank is bolted down. I'm gonna check all the frame, and if there is a subframe attached to it, make sure everything that's holding the frame together is also torqued down and Loctited. Then we're gonna go over the engine, do the same thing with the bolts. Then we're gonna check the triple tree, make sure the headlight is securely in. We're gonna check the tail light, and with the headlight, tail light, in electronics, this is basically me going over all the connections, making sure there are no loose connections, that everything is where it should be. Then we can install the battery, try to turn the key, make sure the bike turns on. Should all the electronics work, we can move on to reinstalling the plastics, and then we can install the rear fender, drain the shipping oil that this bike comes with, and fill it with this Mobil one. Throw some gas in there, start it up, and then adjust the fuel mixture, which should be pretty easy to do. It's just the idle fuel mixture. And then should the bike run and have the correct mixture and all this be taken care of, we can permanently install the handlebars using permanent Loctite. And whenever I take it out for the first ride, I'll stop at a gas station and check the PSI. I have stuff to do that here, but I really don't trust how accurate it is. You may not need to do all of those steps. However, are some things that are definitely going to be necessary. I'm just going over the top. I'm going to check and make sure that everything works. So I have a couple hours before I have to go to work, so I'm going to try to get started, at least get the frame off of here and get the plastic wrap off the bike. Maybe get the handlebars on, get the frame slid out from underneath of it.